no harm can come to you. This letter is genuine, and if you serve us faithfully while we are here, I'll give you 4 bits a week." "Heh! 4 bits!" "Exactly. 4 bits every week." "Gee! That'll make 6 bits a week, with the 2 Talbot's goin' to give me. I'm hanged if I don't buy a sweater for next winter, afore the cold weather comes." "Very good," said Mr. Conant. "Now get busy and let us in." Bub deliberately closed the knife and put it in his pocket, tossing away the stick. "Gals," he remarked, with another half glance at Mary Louise, "ain't to my likin'. But 4 bits!" He turned, and walked away to where a wild rose bush clambered over one corner of the lodge. Pushing away the thick, thorny branches with care, he thrust in his hand and drew out a bunch of keys. "If it's just the same to you, sir, I'd ruther ye snatch 'em from my hand," he suggested. "Then, if I'm blamed, I kin prove a alibi." Mr. Conant was so irritated that he literally obeyed the boy's request and snatched the keys. Then he led the way to the front door. "It's that thin brass one," Bub hinted. Mr. Conant opened the front door. The place was apparently in perfect order. "Go and get Hannah and Irene, please," said Peter to Mary Louise, and soon they had all taken possession of the cosy lodge, had opened the windows and aired it, and selected their various bedrooms. "It is simply delightful!" exclaimed Irene, who was again seated in her wheeled chair. "And if Uncle Peter will build a little runway from the porch to the ground, as he did at home, I shall be able to come and go as I please." Meantime Aunt Hannah, as even Mary Louise now called Mrs. Conant, ransacked the kitchen and cupboards to discover what supplies were in the house. There was a huge stock of canned goods, which Will Morrison had begged them to use freely, and the Conants had brought a big box of other groceries with them, which was speedily unpacked. While the others were thus engaged in settling and arranging the house, Irene wheeled her chair to the porch, on the steps of which sat Bub, again whittling. He had shown much interest in the crippled girl, whose misfortune seemed instantly to dispel his aversion for her sex, at least so far as she was concerned. He was not reluctant even to look at her face, and he watched with astonishment the ease with which she managed her chair. Having overheard, although at a distance, most of the boy's former conversation with Uncle Peter, Irene now began questioning him. "Have you been eating and sleeping here?" "Of course," answered Bub. "In the lodge?" "No, over in Talbot's house. That's over the ridge yonder. It's only a step, but you can't see it from here. My home's in the South Holler, 4 mile away." "Do you cook your own meals?" "Nobody else to do it." "And don't you get dreadfully lonesome at night?" "Who, me? Guess not. What the Sam Hill is they to be lonesome over?" "There are no neighbours near, are there?" "Plenty. The Barker house is 2 mile one way and the Bigby house is just half a mile down the slope. Guess you passed it comin' up, but they ain't no one in the Bigby house just now, 'cause Bigby got shot on the mountain last year, a deer huntin', and Bigby's wife married another man what says he's delicate and can't leave the city. But neighbours is plenty. 6 mile along the canyon lives Doolittle." Irene was delighted with Bub's quaint language and ways, and before Mrs. Conant called her family to the simple, improvised dinner, the chair girl had won the boy's heart, and already they were firm friends. End of Chapter 13. Read by Sabella Denton. For more free audiobooks or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.